All right, I'd like to call to order the Monday, August 13th, 2018 Committee of the Whole meeting. All right, so we need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as proposed.
We have a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that
Are we
passes.
supposed to be voting on board docs?
No, not yet, because not everybody's been trained on it yet.
And Priscilla's on the
On the phone.
All right, so next item on this is the approval of the minutes from July 16th, 2018.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that one passes. All right, next item, if someone wants to make the motion for executive session.
I move we go into executive session.
Second.
All right, so there'll be executive session motion to consider the items listed that are under attorney-client privilege. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that one. All right, we're in executive session.
So are we going to save all the votes for any
Yeah,
kind of?
we're having a special called meeting.
All right,
at the
so
end.
who is going to handle SEC today?
Priscilla on the phone?
Yeah, Priscilla's on the phone.
But is she going to? Is she
That's
going
only one
to?
item.
It's just one.
Oh, it's just one item.
Yeah, just that one item.
Okay.
It's hard for him to do it.
Do y'all want to go ahead and do our public comments before we log into this?
Yeah.
So do we have any visitors from the public who would like to say something? Hearing none.
We might need to do that again at the beginning of operations or at the end.
Okay. Good. All right, so let's go into SEC. Priscilla, you're here somewhere.
So you want me to just go ahead and do it since there's only one item?
Yes, please.
Oh, great.
We have the review of the Advanced Ed Board rubric.
Great.
Who's going to be doing that?
Erica and Beth Higgins.
Give me your mouse.
Okay.
Thank you. Pretty cool.
Thank you, but I'll get one.
You don't have to say anything, you just click. And it shows the result.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We are excited to talk about our advanced ed accreditation and share with you the rubric as it relates to the rubric that will be used when they come in and observe the Board of Trustees. And so that's what we're going to walk through today. You all know who I am. I'm Erica, and sitting next to me is Beth Higgins. And so, as we've talked about, the purpose of the diagnostic is to support the continuous improvement journey. And the folks who will be here to observe you all are the evaluators who are going to come in for the entire advanced ed accreditation visit. The engagement review team members will be identified, and then there will be one lead evaluator. And so, do you want to talk about how the diagnostic will be used?
Sure.
Okay.
So probably one thing that you may want to know, the team will come in and they will, prior to coming here in September, they will observe some board meetings, some recorded board meetings that we have posted, and they may or may not come to that Monday night board meeting, September the 24th,
Right.
September 24th. And so they'll look at those, and we wanted to share with you the rubric that they'll be using, and that's the pages that are near the back, 3 from the end. There's a number 1 at the bottom of the page if you want to look. You will not, no board member will be identified individually by name, and that's a question a lot of times people have. But what they'll be looking for will be the things that are listed on the rubric or scoring guide, 3 pages from the end with number 1 at the bottom. And we just wanted to briefly go over those to see if you have any questions about them. They'll look at physical setting, at can you talk to each other, can you see the audience and talk to the stakeholders. They'll look at meeting protocols. Do you follow an agenda? Do you have a formal process for doing that? The third category that you can see is leadership. And so they'll look at respectful and professional behavior toward each other will be something they look at, that you understand the policies and that you have a strong sense of shared leadership between you, our Board of Trustees, and the district leadership, district staff, Dr. Postaway. Those are some things they'll look at. On the second page of that rubric, a couple other things that I think you will see or think about in the work that you've done together over the last couple of years. The committee coming in will look at, do you look at student data? And is that a way that you think about what we need to do next as a district? Is our dialogue with our stakeholders healthy and productive? And do you know your roles and responsibilities as board members? They'll also look at, does the work that you do line up with the district's strategic plan? Is that where your focus is? And I think all of the work that you've done together this year around the 3 strategic priorities and aligning the budget with those priorities are really good evidence that when they look at things like learning and resources, that our board is working really hard to do that. So again, the team coming in will review some of the meetings that are posted from the board. We may or may not have 1 or 2 of the members come that Monday night. But we just wanted to share with you, these are exactly the pieces of paper that they will have and use as they come in to think about our board. Another question that someone had asked, just so everybody's clear, the board will have a rating, some commendations, and perhaps some recommendations. And then our operations folks will have a rating with some commendations and perhaps some recommendations. But the weight of the accreditation falls on everything else. And so although there will be recommendations and commendations, that's not the weight of our system accreditation. So, and we wanted to also go over a few little just sort of for information. It's on the other side of your folder, the quick facts, and then see what questions you have.
And so as it relates to participation, 100% of our schools and divisions and departments have participated in getting ready for, and I'm just so excited getting ready for what I know will be the accreditation of Charleston County School District. And so when you think about the number of individuals who've participated in this effort thus far, about 8,000 parents have completed the engagement survey. It's about 70% of our eligible students, so that's about 17,000 students participated in the surveys. Nearly 90% of our teachers participated, about 2,900 teachers participated, and about 1,100 school-based classified staff. And these are individuals who participated in the engagement surveys. When we talk about the levels of support that we've provided from the state level, Dr. Annette Melton, who's the Director for Advanced Ed, she came in December 2017 and worked for about half a day with our principals. We've had 5 other workshops for principals throughout the summer. We've held open houses. They've come here, we've gone to them to provide support to include proofreading, editing, and anything else that they've needed. We've been there to support them. And then as it relates to the team visit in September, the team will be in on Sunday, September 23rd. An overview of CCSD will be provided by Dr. Postaway, and then on the 24th, they will make announced and unannounced school visits.
Then Tuesday will be the day that we would ask for your participation. Tuesday is the day that the team will spend the whole day at 75 Calhoun. And it'll start with some of our district leaders giving presentations about the work, what are we doing, what seems to be working well, what do we need to do next. Then there'll be a period of time right after lunch that the team would like to interview our board members in small groups of 2 or 3 for about an hour. It's not a test. It's not something you study for. It's just they'll just ask for you to talk to them about the work, the things that you think are important and going well, what you hope to do next, and what your vision is, and how that lines up with the district vision. Then we'll also have principals whose schools are not visited will come in, as well as parents and community members. So Tuesday of their visit, September 25th, is the day that an invitation will come out to you to participate in that time slot from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in small groups with our visiting team. Wednesday, the team will work together to look at sort of commendations or things that seem to be going well for us, and then recommendations. What should we work on next based on all the information that they've looked at? And then they'll give feedback at the end to Dr. Postaway and district leaders. So we're hopeful of having an idea of where we stand at about the point that they leave. So our principals seem to be really excited. They're partly excited because they finished doing the work of it, so I'm sure that's a part of it, but our principals seem to be really excited, and many of them say, please come to our school, please let our school be one of the ones that's visited. So we're appreciative of the help of all the district staff who've worked on this, learning services and HR, and every part of the district staff has worked together, as well as our people in our school. So if you have questions about the process or anything, we'd be really glad to answer them.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir.
I'm not quite understanding the importance of having the accreditation process done for us. Like, will it impact students? Will our students learn any better? Will teachers be able to provide level of instruction at a greater consequence because we've gone through this process? I'm not sure I need some answer.
Okay. I would say that I think it would be great if you talked with principals and teachers about that. What the response that we've heard is this, from principals and the principals who work deeply with their staff. This has really helped us think about what's working and what's not working, what we need to do better. It's helped us share as colleagues because our principals came in and worked together in groups with their level leaders. And so when we talked about something like healthy culture or impact of instruction, our principals had a chance to share really deeply about this seems to be working for me, but this does not. So the whole point of the Advanced Ed process is to look at what you're doing and work to get better. And so I don't know that it's a rating or the accreditation that itself that is as important as our people really focused on working together on doing better for students.
Not to be funny, but shouldn't they already be thinking about that anyway?
I think, yes, sir.
Have they not considered those points you just mentioned prior to this process? Not just prior to Jarita, but in past and future superintendents, shouldn't that always be the like on the piece that says students are the heart of our work? Shouldn't that have always been the focus, or is this a spotlight on some things that should have already been done that may have been missed?
I would say, and I'm glad for anybody else to respond, I would say that it is a more holistic picture all at one time that calls you not to look, for example, at one element, perhaps student discipline, or another element, perhaps phonics, but it is, I think it was exactly the right time in our system to work on it because I think the structures in our system have made it possible to work on it now. But should we always be working to improve and students be the focus? Yes, sir, absolutely. I think this just put a spotlight on some things for people and a chance to work together.
So would you say that this advanced ed gives us an opportunity to crown the work that we've already put together to make sure that we're being effective at the process or the strategic plan that we have in place. An opportunity to not only put a plan in place, but to also have it at a rigor point or process where we maximize or achieve the efforts that we've put together. For an example, back to what Mike talked about, rigor in teaching has always been at the forefront. So I see this as a process of us taking what the board have just passed, and as far as the strategic plan is concerned, and trying to crown it with a process that keeps us and keeps everyone connecting together and making sure that we're reaching every child, every student. I believe that's always been the goal, and trying to make sure that is always at the forefront. And so I just piggyback on the fact that, of course, just going through what I've learned about this process, we have taken the pie and we have sliced it to a point to where everyone is included, to where you have the teachers, the staff, the students, the parents, the stakeholders, and it's all meshed into one to get just what we're trying to achieve here, this level of rigor and of expectancy at the end. So if I'm wrong, tell me, because that was my thought process.
No, I think you're exactly right, and I think it's, I don't think it's something different, Mr. Miller, but I do think it is a chance for us to have some external validation of things that are working well, and some conversations together about things that aren't, the things for which you've always been passionate, our students.
Michael, you were running this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Erica, could you maybe, from Mr. Miller's education, tell him how many times the district didn't follow through with this process with prior times? Because I believe this has been started by prior administrations, but they just kind of dropped it. This is the first time that the district saw it through.
That is accurate. The Advanced Ed District system-wide Advanced Ed accreditation process started under former superintendent, and then we started again about 2.5 years ago, and then most recently, the last year and a half, in concert with completing our strategic plan, teed up the Advanced Ed accreditation process again. And so we were asked, just so that you know, when we talk about timing, we were given 3 dates to choose from for our visit. And we didn't want to have the visit so close to the start of school. So the September 23rd, 26th timeframe was the farthest away from the start of school, so that our principals and teachers and students and parents can get into the swing of things before the visit occurred. So this wasn't the first time that we thought about doing this one.
Kevin, do you understand?
Yeah, this process that you're talking about, how the districts across the United States, how many of them fall in line or use the accreditation program?
So, in our state, for example, the majority of our districts are accredited through Advanced Ed.
About 63.
About
63.
63.
How many total we have in the state?
84 or 86.
86.
And
There-
this is a listing from January. There are some districts that are going through their accreditation process now. If it's not, I'll get it for you. It was just.
It was in a slide deck earlier that we shared, but we'll get another copy to you.
Okay. And I'm familiar with this kind of process we did in law enforcement, and based upon performance and customer service, a lot of their different variety of things. Tell me, when we complete this process, what do you hope to gain from the process as far as raising our standards in our classrooms, with our parents, our customer service? I know you talk about interviewing the board,
Yes, sir.
you know, but tell me what you like to gain out of it in the long run.
From a system standpoint, I look at this as an opportunity for us to say that Charleston County School District has the ability and is one of the leaders in education. And one of the things that we'll learn through this process is continuous improvement. And so we know one of the things we'll have an opportunity to share with you, we know we've met with some members of the board, and we definitely would like to meet with everyone to kind of go through the surveys and actually share with you what our principals and teachers and other staff had to say as it relates to where they think the district is. And so we just ultimately think that at the end of this process, we'll have a clear picture of where we collectively think that we are and where we hope to go. So we can talk about that. We can spend as much time as you like to go through the process, because I think if you understand not what Erica says, but what our principals are saying and teachers and community, students and parents are saying, it'll be clear that there is a strong majority who know that the district, we are doing well. We could definitely do hope better, and better is can be interpreted differently. But for you to actually read what principals said, I think it'll be very important and definitely shape how you think about this process and the importance of it.
Has this process ever helped other districts raise their bar as far as achievement and, test scores are, instrumental in the education process in the classroom?
I think it has, because it provides an opportunity to collaborate and work together and understand strengths and weaknesses, which helps in all aspects of what you're describing.
Yeah.
So I think once you get principals talking to each other as they have been, and hearing what parents are really saying, to say that we got survey results back from about 90% of our teachers I think is phenomenal, and it really gives a clearer picture about how they really feel about the work that they do and how they feel about the district as a whole.
Okay, thank you.
Can I also add
Yes.
just to that from the board point of view, and tell me if I'm wrong with this, because I'm trying to stay abreast with this, that if we as a board participate in the strategic process and the planning that we have passed, and when we participate in the budget process, this, what we're trying to push forward as far as advanced ed is concerned, supports all that process down to the school-based principal, teachers, into the classroom, and then we produce what's called college career ready students at the end. So this process, just in my opinion, tell me if I'm wrong, helps us to foster all of those things that we're talking about as far as advanced ed is concerned. And from what I see, that if with this advanced ed, it does raise the bar because it shows from the board perspective that we fully support and we have engaged in what we are asking our superintendent and district leaders to produce as far as filtering down into our classrooms, or into our schools, into our classrooms. And the facilitating part as far as engaging the community and stakeholders as a whole, all of this brings together the whole pie that I talked about earlier, and we talked about raising the bar. So at the end of the day, the answer to that question has been asked: does this raise the bar? In my personal opinion, from the process that I see that you guys have presented, it does raise the bar, and it keeps the board at a level to a point of supporting initiatives such as this to make sure that we have these positive outcome and result. So if I'm off base, tell me, because this is my thinking process.
No, you're not.
One thing, Eric's went before me, but,
I'm sorry. I
I'm
keep
just kidding,
looking.
I'm just kidding, I'm giving Mike all the time. One thing just that I've gleaned from this, and I think to answer Michael's question too, I mean, I think advanced ed wouldn't exist or do this if it didn't bring some progress or improvement to a district. And I think all of us who've been in our, what we do for a living outside of the school district stuff, and you know, when you go to a conference or you do training, that's always a good opportunity to kind of ramp up what you're doing. So based on what I've seen and you all talked about, I think that this process has been that opportunity to really talk about what they're doing well, what they need to do differently. So I hope we will see, you know, improvement in lots of areas that we've continued to talk about. But I think getting this done has been a lot of work, and I think, you know, thank the principals and the staff who've worked so hard on it on our behalf, please.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
I would point out that it's about 1,100 districts, and I'm cross-referencing the highest rated districts in the southeast with the districts that are advanced ed credited. It lines up.
I think I'd like to see, I don't know if you can show it, but I'd like to see if there was a spike in student achievement and
Well,
reduction.
that was the
in-
parameter I put in, was
And
achievement
a
gap.
reduction in achievement gap when the district wasn't accredited, they became. Because at the end point, the end result has to be something more than just, you know, an effective board of governance.
I think better operations can
Or
only.
better operations and better function, it has to be better deliverables too, so.
I think that if you were to look at it on the other side of the coin, I don't think you think sloppier operations would improve student
We
achievement.
know that Michael would not do that.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I'm interested to see what it does in the future, but right now in the southeast, it's lining up with some of the ones you would know.
No more questions?
Thank y'all very much. Yeah, I think she's on the phone. Priscilla, you still there? Oh,
I am.
okay.
Ms. Darby, I just wanted to ask for those board members who may have further questions, we're still happy to meet with them when their schedule allows.
Right, so I think just Julie sent out an email to schedule each one of us to meet individually or in small groups, and a lot of people have been doing summer vacation stuff, so you all will still do that the next couple weeks, so please follow up with Erica, Beth, or Julie to get those scheduled.
All right, with that being said, since that was an information item, the SEC is now adjourned.